welcome to Finextra. I'm Thea George and I'm here with Thomas Egner of the Euro Banking Association. We're at CIBOS 2016 in Geneva and we're talking about open banking. Thomas, thank you for joining me.
Welcome.
So last week the Euro Banking Association announced the creation of an open forum on open banking. Can you tell us what its objectives are?
Yes. Well, we have seen within our membership that open banking is a topic, a very vast topic, and a very important topic. First, a very important topic for our membership, but when we discussed open banking within our membership, we thought it's much wider than that, and it should be looked at from a much wider attendance of entities. And so we had a discussion and said it should be an open forum where other parties, non-EBA members could attend and bring in their views, discuss on definitions, come to a common view on individual topics. And again, we said the EBA is a good place to discuss with all stakeholders. And that's why we had the idea as well to get in the fintechs to represent themselves in this open forum and to really deal with the topic of open banking. The open forum will be divided into two big parts. Part one is all things dealing with the PSD2, so access to accounts. That's a big part of it. And once we have dealt with that, we'll reach out to the real topic of open banking. So it will be a more practical part at the beginning, and then comes the fun part. Looking at the construction of the open forum, as I said, we try to embrace the fintechs, to get them on board, to really encourage them to get into discussions with banks, with the incumbent banks. And we thought it would be a good idea to have this open forum co-moderated by a banker and by a fintech guy, let's put it like that, and that's what we have done. So it will be co-chaired. Each person will represent, its companies, its constituencies, where they come from, and we hope that we'll get a very good, let's say, discussion of the topic, good agreement, collaboration, and competition-free discussion of the topic. This is what we want in an open space.
So you mentioned PSD2. I know that the Euro Banking Association has also issued a report on this topic.
Correct.
What was the focus of that?
Well, we had some quite good experience coming from PSD1 that this regulatory work needs a practitioner's discussion. And because reading through all the provisions of PSD2, questions come around, and different persons think of, let's say, equal words in a different way. And we thought it's worth to have a look into the PSD, to ask our membership where the big problems may be, where potential misunderstandings or different understandings are in reading out the PSD provisions. And that was the reason why we turned to our membership and said, let's create a working group here. We did it with asking some questions to our membership, because we just wanted to see how the feeling in the market is. And as you know, we don't do any lobbying, but we want to really look at the practical impacts in implementing PSD provisions, which banks have to do. And that was the reason for creating this working group.
And would you want to highlight any particular findings from that report?
Yes, there are some very interesting highlights. For example, we asked, how do you deal with PSD2? Do you deal with it in a pure national environment, or pure pan-European, or do you have a combined approach? Because lots of our member banks, they are pan-European acting entities. We found out that lots of those members really look at the pan-European part of it. Second interesting thing was we had a comparable setup at the EBA Day this year, and we found out that the members look to PSD2 in a different way. Then at the EBA Day, we had lots of people and lots of banks looking at PSD2 from a compliance point of view. Now it turned out that almost 93-94% looked at the topic from a strategic point of view. So what we saw here is that apparently there's a learning curve in how to deal and discuss with the topics brought up by PSD2. Of course, there were other things like completely different answers to questions where we thought, why did banks and people answer so differently? But all in all, the final question was, how should the EBA deal with PSD2? And approximately 100% said, yes, we need these practitioners panel. And I think this is what it's all about. There's a feeling in the market, persons do understand the letters, do understand the words, think that they understand the meaning, but there's a cross-industry understanding necessary really to deal and have a common understanding and a common, let's say, definition on what is intended with PSD2 and put it into market. And that is the way we are going to deal with PSD2.
Thomas, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And thank you for watching.